ballroom was alive with glittering lights and murmurs, but you felt a weight in her chest the moment she stepped inside. Every pair of eyes seemed to linger, and the elegant crowd felt suffocating. She glanced up at Taehyung, hoping for comfort. His gaze was sharp, commanding, and immediately he leaned close. His voice low, possessive, eyes down, he whispered, "Dark and fine, no one tries to look at you, and no one tries to look at me, especially you." You swallowed hard, the command wrapping around her like chains. She felt herself shrinking under his intensity, but the suffocating crowd made her words tremble. "I don't like it here," she murmured, her voice small, barely audible. Taehyung's hand brushed against her back, guiding her slightly closer. He didn't respond. The silence was heavy, suffocating, and she tried again. "But I want to go back to the mansion," she said, her voice cracking with unease. "Shit." He said nothing, just keep her near, eyes scanning the room as if daring anyone to step out line. Your chest tightened and tears pricked at the corner of her eyes. I need to go to restroom," she whispered, voice shaking. This time he nodded slightly, not to let her go alone, but to allow her to leave with a female maid he had assigned. The gesture was possessive, controlling. Even in granting permission, he maintained his calm. You followed the maid down the glittering hallways, heart racing, mind frantic. Once in the privacy of restroom, your emotions overcame her. She saw a phone left on a counter. Without thinking, she grabbed it, her fingers trembling as she dialed her mother's number. Her mother, a faint and echo from a little long separation from her father, felt like a lifeline. Memories flooded back. Childhood split between parents, sister with mother, she and her brother with father. Alarm formed in her throat. "Mom, she whispered, tears falling. "I want to see you." Her heart raced as the call went through, a movement of stolen hope, but before she could say more, a shadow fell across the room. The young hand took the phone from her fingers, wrapping around it firmly. His eyes were dark, unreadable, and she felt a cold shiver pass through her. "You shouldn't try to contact them," he said softly, almost a whisper, but each word cut like a steel. You shoulder shock, tears spilling freely. "Please, I want to go to Mama. I need her." His expression softened only for a heartbeat. Seeing her like this, helpless, crying, reaching for a life he had cut from, something in him twisted painfully. His hand brushed her hair back, and he pushed her across, holding her tight, chest against hers, as if she sobs were a storm he could weather. "You," he murmured, voice thick with emotion, "you don't belong anywhere but there with me. I can't let you go." You buried her face in his chest, shaking with grief and longing. "But I needed her. I miss my family." For a moment, the notorious mafia king, the man who ruled with fear and obsession, seemed almost human. He hugged her tighter, whispered soft, possessive comforts into her hair. The crowd, the party, the world outside the mansion, it all faded. "I know," he said, voice low, smoothing yet edged with the danger that always clung to him. "I know you feel it, but you are mine, only mine, and I will not let anyone take you from me." Despite the harshness of his words, the hug brought a strange, twisted relief. "You tears continue, but the sobs slowed as she clung to him, desperate for a fragment of warmth in a world where control was absolute. Finally, he pulled back just enough to guide her. He took her hand and led her silently through the corridors, past whisper and glittering eyes, until the mansion gates were inside. he pressed with a constant shadow, protective, possessive, unyielding. Inside the mansion, he walked her to her room, closing the door behind them with a decisive click. You sank onto the bed, still trembling, body exhausted from fear, longing, and relief. Taehyung kneeled beside her, brushing damp hair from her face. "You are safe here," he murmured. "No one will touch you, no one will see you, only I." She looked up at him, her eyes red and dry. "I just wanted to see Mama." "I know," he said softly, guilt flickering for a moment across his features. "I can't allow it, but I will be here always." He held her until she calmed, wrapping her in the comfort only he could give. Dark, obsessive, yet strangely tender. For a long moment, you let herself lean into his arms, hiding her face against his chest. The mansion was silent, protective, and suffocating, just as he wanted it. When her finally sobs subsided, he helped her lie down, adjusting the blanket, his hands lingering briefly on her shoulders. His gaze softened as he watched her drift towards sleep. "You are mine," he whispered, a dark promise, not just a claim. "No one will take you, no one." You closed her eyes, clenching to that promise in a mix of fear and strange comfort. The night outside continued, the party long forgotten, the city lights fading behind the mansion walls. In the quiet darkness, the notorious mafia king watched over her, obsessive, possessive, and unwilling to let her go. And for the first time that evening, you let herself rest, if only brief, in the twisted safety of his arms. The morning light split into the grand bedroom, soft and golden, but it could not chase away the storm in Yu's heart. She sat on the edge of the bed, her eyes red, her cheeks wet from endless tears. Taehyung, still in his black silk shirt, leaned against the balcony rail, arms folding, watching her quietly. He hated her tears. They made him restless in ways he couldn't explain. Finally, he walked closer, his shadow falling over her in a view. He said in a low voice, "Why you crying again?" Her lips trembled. I want to see my mother once, please, Taehyung, just once. Don't keep me away from her anymore." Her words cut through him like a blade. His jaw tightened, his dark eyes studying her fragile form. For a long moment, he said nothing. But when her sobs grew heavier, he kneeled down in front of her, his large hand cupped her face, forcing her to look at him. "I don't like this," he muttered. "But if it stops you tears, I will take you to her." You blinked at him, stunned. "You mean it? You will let me see her?" "Yes," he said firmly, "but only because I allow it. Don't forget that." Her tears slowed, hope is sparking in her chest for the first time in days. She managed a small smile. Later that morning, the dining room smelled of fresh bread and warm tea. Taehyung sat at the head of long table, you beside him, still quiet but calmer. His mother entered, gracefully dressed in a soft ivory hanbok, her aura commanding respect. She gave you a gentle smile before turning her sharp gaze on her son, Taehyung. She began sitting across from her. "Let the girl see her mother. I will personally send her with cards. She deserves this." Taehyung paused mid-air, his eyes flickered to you, then back to his mother. "No," he said coldly. "It's dangerous. She stays here." "Don't be stubborn," his mother countered calmly. "You can't lock her inside forever. She is still human. She needs her family. At least give her this much." The tension in the room was heavy, like the air before a storm. You looked between them, nervously clenching her hands together. For a long silence, Taehyung said nothing. His aura was sharp, his anger boiling beneath the surface. But when he saw the desperate look in Yu's eyes, he finally exhaled and leaned back in his chair. "Fine," he said in a clipped tone. "She can go." But he leaned forward, his aura turning deadly. "She must turn before night falling." Not a second later, he turned to his men standing nearby. "Double the guards if anything happened to his lips curved into a cruel smile. "You know what will happen to you. Use a heart escape." She felt both relief and fear at the same time. Two black sleek cars left the mansion gate, the engine growing softly against the quiet morning air. Yu sat in the back seat of the first car, flanked by two female guards. She stared out the tinted window, her heart racing with nervous excitement. "I will finally see her mother. I will finally see my mother." But destiny was cruel. Halfway down the lonely road's headlights flashed from the opposite side. Suddenly a large van swerved, blocking her path. Three scratched breakers slammed ambush. One guard shouted, pulling her gun. Before you could process, gunshots exploded. The sound was deafening, glass shattering around them, sparks flying as bullets hit the metal frame. The guards filed back, but the enemy was prepared. Masked men poured out of the van, weapons blazing. "Stay down!" the guards yelled, shoving you low against the seat. But it was too late. One man smashed open the car door, grabbing you by the wrist. She screamed, thrashing wildly. "Let me go!" she cried, kicking desperately. The man snarled and slapped her hard across the face. Pain exploded across her cheeks, slicing her vision, blood with tears, her head spinning. "Move," he barked, dragging her out onto the rough road. The guards fought bravely, but one by one they fell, blood staining the dead bodies, collapsing. The last guard reached for you, but a bullet cut her down before she could help. "No," you screamed, but another man shoved her towards the van. Her hands trembled as they bound her wrist. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She resisted until her body ached, but it was useless. The man forced her inside the van and slammed the door shut. Her heart pounded in terror. "Taehyung, please save me." Back at the mansion, Taehyung sat in his office, reviewing documents with a cold, focused gaze. His phone suddenly rang. "Boss," the trembling voice on the other end began. "It's you." She been taken. For a moment, silence filled the room. Taehyung didn't move. He didn't breathe. Then slowly his hand clutched around the phone. His knuckle turned white. His dark eyes, usually calm, grew black as coal. The air around him shifted, heavy and suffocating. "Say that again," he demanded, voice strangely quiet. "Mafia king attacked the convoy. Guards are dead. They took her alive." Alive, the single word lit a fire inside him. Taehyung stood, his tall frame casting a long shadow across the office. He adjusted his black suit jacket with deliberate calmness, but his aura screamed of death. His lips curved into a dangerous smile. "Alive, good." He let out a low giggle, dark and cold. "That means I can kill them slowly." Every man in the room froze. They had seen this look before, the look of the Mafia king when mercy was no longer an option. Taehyung ended the call, his eyes blazing with fury. He turned to his men, who waited nervously for his command. "Prepare everything," he ordered, his voice like ice. "Find out which gang touched her. I don't care how many bodies fall tonight." He pursed his black eyes sharp as a blade. "Anyone who dared lay a hand on her." His voice dropped lower, darker, each word dripping with deadly promise, "will not live to see another sunrise." And with that, the Mafia king declared war. The night was cold and the warehouse was dark and empty. You stood in the middle of the room, breathing fast. Her heart pounded, her wrist were free this time. No tie but fear held her in place. She finally understood who had taken her. 3 men were random. They were her late sister-in-law, brothers, and also Taehyung rivals. Their eyes burned with hate, and their motive was clear: revenge for their sister's death. And now you was their bargaining chip. Look at her, Taehyung's treasure. One of them is Nate, stepping closer. His voice was cruel, teasing, full of mockery. So tiny, so pretty. No wonder he hid you from us. Your lips tremble. Please let me go, she whispered, her body shaking from fear. Blood trickling from the corner of her lips. Her nose was bleeding slightly, and small scratches marked her face. Her body cried uncontrollably as she tried to make herself small. Another grabbed her arm, roughly pushed her slightly. You are so pretty. Why don't we get to see you earlier? That's why Taehyung keep you hidden from the world. Use heart tightened. She thought of Taehyung, his sharp eyes, his strict rules, the control he always had. She hated needing him, yet she wanted him here more than anything. He was the only one who could save her. Suddenly, outside, fan engine sounds grew louder. Tires scratched against the wet asphalt. Her stomach twisted, her breath hitched. Then a massive explosion rocked the warehouse. The heavy doors flew open. Splinters of wood and metal, shattering, smoke and dust filled the air. Your eyes watered, but she could see him, Taehyung, walking like a shadow furry. His black coat moved with the wind, his aura merciless and dangerous. His men followed, guns is all ready, but he didn't wait. He was already in action. Where is she? His low, dangerous voice echoed through the warehouse. The kidnapper shouted, raising guns and knives, but Taehyung moved faster. One of the launched at him, and Taehyung shot him in the chest without hesitation. Another swung a knife, but Taehyung catch his wrist mid-air, twisting it until a sharp crack echoed through the room. The man collapsed instantly. You trembled, watching in terror. Blood was everywhere. The sounds of guns and screams filled the air, but deep inside she felt relief. This was Taehyung, the man she feared most, yet the only one who could protect her. One more tried to approach her, knife in hand. Taehyung shot him point blank. You flinched at the sound, echoed, the force shaking the walls. She crouched into the corner, tried to hide, her heart racing, stomach twisting in fear and anticipation.